Hey, Jason Small here with United Country Land Pros We Know Dirt podcast, here with Brian and Tyler. And we wanted to talk a little bit about, the deer season in review from this last year, 2024. I know there was a lot of high expectations, and everybody had a bunch of good deer pictures in the summer. And how did everything come out? Brian, I know you actually tagged 3 deer this year, right?
Yep.
So you got one Missouri buck and 2 Iowa bucks.
Yep.
And then Tyler, you killed a real good deer. Is that late season, right? With your muzzle loader, is that right?
Yeah, second shotgun in Iowa, and then killed just an old mature deer in Missouri.
That's right. Yeah. You killed an older deer down there. So what? I guess go through it, and we're gonna put some pictures and stuff on here to kind of show what we had early. You guys had some deer on some stuff in Iowa that were just mega giants early. I know you had one on some public ground or whatever else, and they disappeared. A couple of them disappeared. One deer died, and kind of the way it went. Normal.
We had a lot of good ones until we didn't.
Yeah, I think we probably had some EHD stuff too, didn't we?
I haven't been out walking everything yet, but we suspect EHD really wiped out a lot of our stuff. I mean, we had 4 or 5 deer that would go boon all day, and then I guess we lost all of them.
Yeah,
more or less. I mean, I found a couple good ones there later in the season, but everything that we had going into the season they just disappeared middle part of August, and never seen hide or hair of them.
And I thought we kind of got past all that. I mean, it wasn't really a terrible drought. We had a pretty good. We had a decent spring. It was nice. Summer was decent, and then it turned off dry like it does in August on us. We lost a bunch of our green plots, or I did, and so that's kind of the way it goes, I guess. That's EHD's. It's a bigger deal than the CWD now, in my opinion. As far as
no doubt.
Early on affecting us. Every year it seems like every year or two we get an area that's hit pretty hard, which is why it's good to be spread out a little bit.
It was pretty widespread this year, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I know we lost some here in Memphis, here in at the office here. I have a place just north here, and we lost a few. I know my nephew found a couple little bucks, and I know that old boy found several on one farm. Dead deer, no bucks, but that doesn't mean they didn't die somewhere else in the creek and get washed down or whatever else.
I've found 2 so far on one of my farms I've just made a loop to the woods when I was filling feeders here a week or so ago, and found 2 3-year-olds dead. And
yeah,
I'd say we're about to find a lot more here in a few weeks when we all get out shed hunting and whatnot.
I talked to a boy today that he said he went shed hunting Sunday already, and he found 5.
That's not good. Not good. Just sets you back. It seemed like we used to have it every 5 years or something. It would set us back a year or two, and then you kind of get going again. But man, it's been more active, I think, in the last couple of years than it was.
Has. And even though this year it was real widespread, there were still pockets that got hit a lot harder. Like, for instance, around my house over there, we got hit some because, remember the deer I had to shoot that I had to call the DNR on back in the summertime. But we seen a lot more good deer, like a lot more deer 4-year-olds and older around that area than what we did in other areas, So I still think it was pockets, which really goes into play with, like, if somebody's looking for a farm or something, they need to deal with somebody that knows where these pockets are at, And that's one good thing, like with Tyler and myself, we're hunting clear from the east to the west, from Van Buren County clear all the way over Lucas County, So, I mean, we're covering a pretty wide area.
Yeah, population. I mean, that makes it, that's something we're kind of getting into too, is being able to do some surveys on some deer and look at some populations, with looking at this thermal drone stuff, and we're going to start doing some of that. I know we haven't got it yet. We've got the capability, got a buddy that's got a drone we're going to be able to use, but I think we'll probably look into getting our own and being able to go in there and actually do a survey and do a population check on the deer for people, and something we'll kind of add to our repertoire, and be able to help people with. But and if you have been hit with the HD, it doesn't mean the end of the world. It's just going to slow you down for a year or two. It's not like it's wiped out. Deer move in, and
I mean, it don't kill every 5-year-old that's around. I mean, we was still as tough of a season as what we had from what we started with. We were still able to slip around and kill mature deer.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of what do you say?
You take our core group, you know, us three, and then Aaron, Zach, our whole little group. I mean, I think all in all, we killed probably 10 or 11 deer that were 4 or 5 plus years old.
Yeah, and David, I don't know what he got killed this year too. He didn't kill anything.
He didn't shoot nothing. He did end up during the late muzzleloader, a mature deer that he just couldn't bring himself to shoot it. He shot 2 does instead because he thought it was a 5.5-year-old deer, and he was in the 130s. But he just said, you know, he figured he'd give him another year, see if he can make a jump at 6.5.
Yeah, and I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens there. But anyway, yeah. So we were pretty successful. I mean, I think Cooper kind of kicked it off. You know, back September 28th, a deer that we had here north of town that I had sheds of and had pictures of for. Since he was a 3-year-old, he knew he was 5.5. We'd had him pretty regular, and we went in, hung a set over top a double ladder stand for you to film from. It got too dark on us. He shot him in the dark.
Got too dark for camera light. It was still legal shooting time.
Oh yeah, it's too dark to film anything.
But it's not on us to pull a 12-year-old off the fixing
no,
up,
he broke
especially as hard as he's been hunting the last couple of years.
Broke his hand, and had a surgery on his hand the day before, and he whacked him with the crossbow at 40. Made a great shot on him. Deer went 40 yards or something like that. Real nice deer. I think he was. What did we say, 156 or something like that? Didn't do much from the year before. Was 146 on his sheds, I think, with a 16-inch spread. So, and then I guess the next deer would probably been your deer in Iowa with a bow on your Appanoose County farm, right?
Yeah, that was a sore subject. You know, my wife, she had we took the early muzzleloader tag for her. She's been hunting the last 2 years and has yet to kill a deer, which she's wanting to target, you know, a mature deer. She's not just wanting to shoot one to say that she killed one.
She's pickier than we are.
Yeah, she's pretty picky, and she's been hunting right hard with me there, and I thought that we had the stage set for it, and so we took her early muzzleloader tag and went in there, and sure enough, it done exactly what the deer was supposed to do. Come out 200 yards, put on a show, tearing up scrapes, and I think we're going to throw some of this video footage in here for you. But come all the way down the bean field, straight to the green plot, 35 yards, sitting here with what's supposed to be a high dollar muzzleloader. I won't call any names, but maybe a CVA Paramount. And she pulls the trigger, and it goes click. So we load it with 3 more primers. Every time it clicks. And keep in mind, I shot this gun 6 times before we took it. Mm-hmm. And so long story short, I had to sit here and watch the deer, and had to wait till dark. Ended up having to run them all off because, you know, we was tied in there, had a lot of deer around us, and she was pretty upset. And I don't think she was quite as upset as I was, but she was pretty upset. And ended up with the gun. I ended up getting in touch with the guys at Arrowhead, and they make a conversion kit for the ignition system on them, and got that converted. I've shot that gun 100 times since, and actually killed one of the deer with it this year. But anyways, so that was the only target deer that we really knew of on that farm, and ended up he disappeared for about 2 weeks after that conniption, and went back in there and got him when he was on a doe, and he put on a show. I'm going to put some of that footage up too, but I took a 50-yard shot at him, which I feel pretty confident to 50, but that's about where I want to. Right. That's about as far as what I'm going to go. But we practice a lot, and I tell Tyler all the time, I replay it in my mind, I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week. But he was on a doe pretty hard, and I got Drew back, and of course I pulled one of them common stunts, you know, mack him, and he didn't stop. And anyways, I remember I didn't release right then, and he was just kind of walking about to hit the woods, and I remember leading him just a touch, but from then I don't really know what happened, but I shot, the deer dropped, so I thought that I spined him, you know, and I got down to go out there and see, and ended up he was stone cold dead. I shot him in the head.
Shot him in the ear.
Shot him in the head. And so I called Tyler, and I told him that I got him killed, and he said, well, I'll come over there and, you know, help you track him. I said, there ain't going to be no tracking. I said, I shoot mine in the head.
That's it.
And he thought I was crazy. but so that worked out good. I mean, he was a deer we know from last year. I feel like he's 5.5. He's at the taxidermist. He's getting aged. They're sending off his jawbone for me, so we'll be able to confirm that. And then from there, it kind of went. We roll into the Missouri rifle season. I mean, we was bow hunting Missouri hard. Tyler, he had his daughter out for that opening day of rifle season, and she was on our biggest deer in Missouri and come close.
Youth season.
Yeah, during youth season. Yep.
She killed that one that afternoon.
Yeah,
but probably a little 4-year-old.
Yeah. But tell him how that happened though, about how you had the whole family set up and had to.
Yeah, so opening morning of youth season, we went down to our 294 farm, Brian's farm down there, and set on the biggest deer we knew of, probably 170-inch style deer, and never seen him. And we talked to one of our buddies. He's a good client of ours, and he sent us just right there across the road there to his farm. And me, my oldest daughter, which is the one hunting, she was 9, and then my middle daughter, who was 4 at the time, and then my wife, we were all out there. And where we set up, the deer was just over the hill far enough where we wasn't ever going to be able to get a shot. So we actually all, as a whole family,
Spot and stock with the whole family.
we just slipped down the waterway and got set up, and I banged the horns together, and here he come, and he ran probably from close to 300 yards just right up there to us. She ended up shooting it probably 30, 35 yards, and it was a good 4-year-old, just a good solid 4.
Good deer for Brayley.
Yeah, for a kid, perfect deer for a kid to shoot.
Well, especially shooting like that, not sitting on a rest in the deer stand, moving and getting set up and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty impressive.
It was an adventure in itself, to say the least.
Yeah.
And then Brayley, she shot some does early season.
Yeah,
we worked on. We try to let Tyler's little girls work on all the does early season, but then I guess from there we go in.
Your rifle buck.
Yeah. So my dad and all come up to hunt and was hunting Missouri, and I was down there with him, and I ended up shooting a deer that we've had on that farm for 3 years. He's like a 130 style deer, but he mature deer, and that's all that I was looking for. We're just trying to kill mature deer, and then from there, Zach.
Well, when you talk about that though, what everybody doesn't realize, it's been people talk about this stuff. You don't shoot anything under so many inches and stuff, and you shot a buck that's the buck you shot up at Aaron's 125 inch deer maybe with your bow.
125.
But a 5.5, 6.5 year old, or big mature bully buck. The deer you shot the same way. And on the other farm, the lease we've got together, we're passing deer. Now I didn't pass them, but the other guys on the lease we're passing. They're on no kill list. We've got
165 inch style.
160 inch 4-year-olds that we're passing to try to kill an age structure and not horns. So that's that's kind of the thing. When you hear that, I don't want people get mixed up on what we're talking about.
We're looking to shoot for age. I mean, a lot of guys, and it's fine. I have no problem with what anybody wants to shoot.
Yeah.
If it's legal, kill it. I don't care if it's 100 inches or 160, 180, 200. Mm-hmm. If you want to kill it, kill it. We're just our goal is to try to target mature deer. We're trying to shoot 5.5-year-old or older deer, and sometimes mistakes happen, but that's just, it don't matter if they're 120 or if they're 170. That's what we're trying to do, and then you roll on through, and Aaron killed a 140 style deer, and then he had drew that Covenant, Iowa bow tag this year, and he ended up, we was hunting a lot of public land. Tyler had done a ton of scouting on public land, and he was bouncing around hunting, and it was getting kind of toward the end, and he ended up coming to one of my farms, and was fortunate enough he killed him a 160, his biggest buck ever with a bow, and got that tag that took him 7 years to get, got it filled, and then we kind of moved on through the season, and we had a big deer show up that we nicknamed Coolio here in Iowa.
Well, yeah, I killed that one after. I killed that old deer that Aaron had a deer on his place, and it was I think he said 6-year-old deer, just like Jay said, we'll go probably 125 inch style deer that Aaron thought was running a lot of his good younger bucks off. So I went in there and I killed him, sometime around the 10th or so, 12th of December, somewhere in that range with my bow, and then that big deer that we didn't know nothing about, he showed up, and I was fortunate enough first day to go in there. Went and bought a second shotgun tag the second and third day of season, and
Well, now he ain't quite telling the whole story here. Deer showed up, and Tyler was holding out, going to wait and get a late muzzleloader tag because that's what we was all planning on doing. And deer was there. Tyler,
he was there that morning. Brian talked
I
me
told
into
him,
going
I
to
talked
getting
him into getting that second shotgun tag.
Going
He
to
said,
get a
you know what's
tag.
going to happen. He said, I'm going to burn this tag, and then I can't hunt no more. You know, I'm done with my gun tag. Went in that afternoon, and how'd the story go?
Well, he come out all the way out of the. He was actually bedding in just a little, probably a acre, maybe 2 acre little CRP thicket in the middle of nothing but crawfields, and he come all the way across to an alfalfa field, and I couldn't shoot him out there just because of where I was at in the ditch, and come through the ditch and popped out on my side in the cut cornfield about, I don't know, 180 yards, turned, walked straight away from me, and he got to about 2 1/4 and turned, gave me a broadside shot, and that pretty well ended the story on that one.
Yeah, a real
He
cool
was a
deer.
cool deer. He's a mainframe, 7-point, got a double split twos on both sides, big flyers kind of that go straight back. Got a big, I don't know, probably 6-inch drop tine off of one side. Just a real. He's an impressive deer for what he is. He's a 166, 67-inch mainframe 7-point with some junk.
Yeah.
Wild character
Mature
deer.
Yeah, that's what kind of hence his name, Coolio. And then we moved on through the season here, and we ended up shooting some does. Me and Tyler went and sat together with the bows and went to whacking on some does, and then Jason, he come over and sat with me one day during late muzzleloader, and he was my good luck charm because a deer that I've always called Crook. That last year we felt like he was 5.5 years old, and he was one of those deer that I'd always have him early season, summertime, early season, then he would vanish, and then I'd pick him back up late season. And just so happened this year that's same way. You know, deer typically are a creature of habits, and ended up killing him like January 3rd or 4th, something like that. And,
Yeah, I'd have to look back, but yeah,
big old mature buck, just a big mainframe 10-pointer with short G4s, went 155, and just mature deer. And that was kind of what we was all after, was mature deer. And there's some other rifle bucks and all, some junkier mature bucks that got killed and all, and but as far as we did have, there was one real big deer that Tyler got on there early that was pushing 200 inches, and he seen him twice, I think. But besides that, that was about the only
had a
big
close
deer.
encounter with him one time. I guess he winded you or something.
Yeah. And that was that's kind of a story we don't talk about, I guess. that was a sad day. Finally see a deer like that, and
But he ended up getting killed. A neighbor killed him like a mile and a half away.
Right around 200.
198
Yeah,
and 7/8.
A big deer for sure. Well, and then what do you guys think for next year? You got some good, we've got some stuff I know on the lease, the lease we have together. We've got those deer that lived, they were past Missouri muzzleloader season anyway.
Yeah.
We know there's 3 deer on that farm that were all 150 plus, probably more like 160 caliber deer. 3 there. So next year's looking pretty good. We can avoid the EHD and anything crazy happening. And I'm sure same thing. These other farms at your house there, you've got some nice 3-year-olds.
Yeah,
there.
we got some on the list that we're gonna be looking for. I know for a fact, like one of the biggest deer that we seen, me and Tyler both seen there, and Tyler actually probably passed him because he had him within killing range. But it's a deer that we nicknamed T-Rex. That we keep going back and forth because we can't. Tyler thinks he's 4. I think he might be 3. It's one of them things that's really hard to tell, but he's a really impressive deer. If he's a 3-year-old,
he's going to be hard pressed to make it to 5.
Well,
he's one of those that you kind of.
That's what happened to that poor deer. 4-year-old.
Yeah.
I knew he was 4, but he came out and
But it just depends on. I got pretty good neighbors around there, and it just depends on.
I didn't have.
No, you do not. Poor Jason over here. He had 5 or 6 of his 3-year-olds get killed, and about 3 of them got killed out of his deer stand.
Yeah, that's how it went too. I had the one deer I had there he was a stud. I don't know how many, had 14-point scorable or something like that. and he might have been a 4-year-old, but I think body-wise, I had him picked as a 4-year-old when I videoed him that time, and we'll throw that on there too. And but I honestly think he was when my nephew killed him. It was one deer that I didn't want him to kill, and he wanted to sit in my deer stand. I said, "Don't kill this deer. Whatever you do, don't kill this deer." And he texted
Now
me and
keep
said he
in
shot.
mind, his nephew's killed plenty of big deer.
Yeah,
for his
yeah,
age.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
this ain't a
Yeah.
it ain't a 12-year-old that you send out here that's never killed a good deer and you're trying to get him to pass it. He's killed a lot of big deer. He
So yeah, I called him because I had a picture of the deer, walked through, and I knew he was about 100 yards away from where he was sitting. I said, "Don't shoot that deer," and he said, "Too late." So I got out there, and it was sure enough him, but little bitty body deer. I mean,
Yeah.
shoot, that deer didn't weigh 175 pounds. I mean, little bitty body deer.
The problem we're going to have with that T-Rex deer if he shows back up next year is I think he's probably going to be pushing 190 plus inches.
Yeah,
And then
it's
you know,
tough to pass.
He's the type of deer that's got the potential if he goes to 5, one of those 220 plus type deer with just everything he's got going on. But I dang sure know if Brian ain't going to pass him, I ain't going to.
Yeah, see now if he shows up 190 inches, I'm the first one to admit the age goes out the window for me because I ain't killed a 190-inch deer.
Yeah.
So like you can give me slack for it all day long, but if he shows up like that, yeah, he's gonna be top of the hit list. But I do know he made it through, and the good thing is I've seen him there a couple weeks ago. He had dropped one side already, had his other side, and so. But we got a couple different deer though that we're gonna be looking for.
I'm most excited about our big lease. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah, that'll be good. Besides what's there, which it's big enough, with 800 plus acres that they could all three stay around there, and at different times, especially, I do think that, in my opinion, the guy's gonna have to go in there and kill and try to kill one or two of them in
Well,
October.
see, we didn't even really have no bully bucks. We had that one bully buck back early before the season come in, but we didn't even really have any bully bucks over there that we thought to try to go and kill. I mean, it just because we definitely would have done that. But the one thing we forgot about the hunt that we donated to the Back in the Woods organization.
Oh yeah.
So that guy, we had donated a hunt to it's a handicap hunting organization back in North Carolina that one of our friends, he kind of helps head it up. And so they auctioned off a 5-day North Missouri hunt. And the gentleman that bought it, he got up here. He couldn't come for opening day of rifle. He got here that Sunday night. So rifle come in on Saturday. He got here Sunday night late there to my house. And Monday morning it was pouring rain. And he, about 10 o'clock, it was slacking up. And I showed him which farm to go to. And he went over there and got in the deer stand, and me and my dad had come to meet you, Jason, and we had just stopped to sit down and eat lunch. Mm-hmm. And the boy hadn't been in the stand 30 minutes and calls me and said he done killed. And, and I was sitting here, which it did not matter whatsoever. It was, hey, this was going to a good cause. Age was off the window. Shoot whatever you want to shoot. You bought the hunt. And
it's a nice deer, though.
Yeah, he called me, and he's like, I just killed one. And he was all tickled to death. And I said, well, look, I'll be over there in about an hour, and I knew I had to go get the four-wheeler because it was wet. It won't froze up. Couldn't drive around the fields or nothing. And I figured, I said he's probably shot 120, 130-inch deer, but, hey, it don't matter. Like, great. I'm tickled. Get over there, and he killed an absolute pig. It was still like a 125-inch buck, but probably a 6.5, 7.5-year-old deer. Just an absolute pig, and the party was on then.
Oh, yeah.
And but we had a good, and then the rifle buck, they got that big rifle, that old wide crap rifle buck, that come out of Missouri there. And so, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of good deer. Zach, he had killed him a buck with the rifle. Again, we killed a lot of mature deer. We just couldn't get on none of them giants.
Nothing crazy big, but a lot of nice deer. Yeah, I had a deer here that we were after. I don't know. He come back limping after rifle season, and I never could get him. I had a 3-year-old that I'm saying 3 or 4-year-old that wanted to fly off the G2.
Yeah.
Had him at 30 yards forever, and I'm saying he was mid 140s probably, but I think he's a young deer. In person, on the camera, he looks nice. In person, man, he just wasn't much bigger than the does. He was just a small deer. I'm saying he's probably 3. I got another, which is amazing because I know for a fact I lost 4 3-year-olds off the stuff I hunt there, and there's 3 nice deer there still, nice young deer that are going to be. So I'm looking forward to picking up their sheds. It's getting to be that time too. Go start looking for long. I had a shed antler buck on camera yesterday that a decent size nubs on him was gone. So
I got about half and half on camera right now. There's a few still packing, but I'd probably say in total, just in general.
some guys don't like to go look yet because they're afraid they'll push them out.
Yeah.
You know?
I seen on the way to the office here the other day. It was last Thursday. Today's Tuesday. Yeah, last Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday. I was on the way to the office here. I seen 5 bucks still holding both sides, all of them chasing a little doe like it was the middle of November.
Yeah.
Just
late
running her around like crazy. And I'll tell you this,
yearling does.
I seen, and me and you was sitting there, we had 2 yearlings and a little buck come out in the radish plot. And that buck that I shot, like muzzleloader, what did he do? He stepped right out there, pegged at them, like he was scent checking them, turned around, fixing to leave. I mean, and I talked to I think that there was more little does that come in late this year. Like, I think that second rut, what we call that second rut for them yearlings and all, it was pretty hot this year because we seen a lot of chasing. Even Tyler over there
There was a lot of just yearlings this year. It seemed like in general, everywhere you'd go, you'd see 20 yearlings.
Yeah, it was.
Every dose seemed like she's packing 2 or 3 little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely had a good hatch this last year.
But I hope, hopefully if we could just get through 1 year with no EHD, I think we could really.
Yeah, I think
really
so
be
too.
back because we've seen a ton of bucks. I mean, it's not like that the deer numbers are way down. I mean, we was still seeing. I think the most deer I seen in a single sit was right at 100, and we seen 40 bucks, but 35 of them was 1.5-year-old bucks.
Yeah,
and but there's still the deer numbers are here still. But we just need to try to get our age structure back right.
it's all about, especially in Missouri. Age structure is the biggest.
Well, I don't know that you're going to get Missouri back perfect until they do something with MDC.
Yeah. Good luck with that. We've been up and down that road
That's
before.
a story for a different day.
Yeah,
we ain't got
that's a
enough time for that.
whole nother podcast. So today you guys were, side note, you guys were up looking at a farm in Iowa, some consulting type work you guys like to do.
Yeah.
Go set up a farm, help a guy, give him a little insight on what you think is the way to set their farm up, put food plots, kill plots, trying to bring deer in. And talk a little bit about that, what you guys were doing, or what you guys do. Kind of a side. I mean, it's a side gig. It's like anything.
It goes
It
hand in hand
with what we do here. It's we kind of like we always say try to be the one-stop shop, and this particular guy, he
client.
He bought a farm from us 2 years ago.
He bought a farm in Missouri from us, but this particular farm he owned for 25, 30 plus years up in Delaware County, Iowa, kind of up toward northeast Iowa. He's killed a lot of good deer, a lot of 160 to 80 inch style deer on it, but he just didn't feel like he was getting the full potential out of the farm, and
it don't never hurt to get a fresh set of
Second
eyes
set of eyes on it,
it.
just to say, hey, what am I doing?
So we went up there, and yesterday we spent the day with him, and we went all over the farm and kind of seen what he was doing and what he had. And from the moment that we just looked at the map, I mean, it's probably one of the best aerial photos of a farm that you
In
ever
the state of
seen
Iowa. That's
for
no
deer
lie.
hunting in general. And then this morning we actually got up, me and Brian went and put some more boots on the ground, and so basically all we did was kind of took some things that he had been doing for years that obviously wasn't working like he wanted, and we tweaked some stuff, built, put in a plan for him to build a lot bigger grain plots and kind of concentrate deer more toward the center of his farm, because one of his biggest issues was he was losing
them to the neighbor.
deer to the neighbor's feed.
And he's got a big enough farm to where you're always, I don't care if you own 10,000 acres, you're always going to lose a deer to the neighbor. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
It's not your deer anyways, but you're
Now,
always
come
gonna,
on, that's my
you're
deer.
always going to lose one to the neighbor. But the problem was he was losing all of his real good bucks to the neighbors. And when you look at his farm and you look at all the bed and all the south face slopes he had, the one big thing that he was missing was that destination food. He's got the places for it, but he's not doing it. He's more went this style of let's put in little 1 acre plots here, 1 acre there, 1 acre here, and they always get destroyed and he doesn't have the food. So what was happening was the deer's bedding on him, but they're leaving and
To
they're
go eat
going to the
crop
ag. Yeah. And we confirmed that this morning. So like when me and Tyler went back out this morning, we went around toward the south side of his farm over there to where that ag was. We jumped the most deer I've ever seen bedded together. I've never in my life seen.
Probably
we jumped
80 plus deer.
80 plus deer
Out of
one little draw. It was deer going everywhere like doves getting up out of a field.
Yeah.
And and we showed him that, but it never hurts to get a fresh set of eyes. But we just feel like it goes hand in hand with the real estate because, we got a lot of clients that, okay, they deal with a realtor, they buy a farm, and then they don't hear from that realtor or stay in touch unless they're wanting to buy something else or sell something. So now it's why I own this farm, but I live 10 hours away, 12 hours away. Well, how do I get my food plots planted?
Mm-hmm.
I got a cell phone camera that I put up when I was out there. Now it's not sending pictures. SD card messed up. So we try to keep this relationship going, and that's one thing that we pride ourselves in is, hey, we're a one-stop shop. Like, you're not just, we don't walk away at the closing table. We're here for you the whole way through.
Right. Well, and there's a difference. People start to get it. Look at it. There's a difference in realtors, and there's definitely some other guys out there that know what they're doing as far as setting farms up and things like that, and hunting. But there's a lot of these guys that they've got a real estate license and they want to sell hunting ground. They couldn't kill a deer if they're locked in a barn with it, but that's the way it is, and that's something that I know you guys have went and done a lot of food plots for guys last year, and did help hang a bunch of stands for guys too. Something we have a deal with Banks Blinds.
Yeah.
That's one thing we can get a hold of, and we did have a deal with some deer stands too, but I think I'll let that deal go. But yeah, so that's something that you guys are definitely a big advantage to having you guys go look at a farm.
Hey, I'm the first to tell you. You want to talk about like a commercial strip mall for sale? I'm probably not the most knowledgeable guy on that.
Right.
We'll probably point you in a different direction to another agent here in the office. But if you want to talk about hunting, by no means are we the best, but we pride ourselves in how much time we put into it and how much strategy we try to put into these farms.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of what else we ought to talk about. We're going to run some of the video and some of the kill pictures and stuff like that. And if anybody wants to try to get a hold of you to come look at a farm and do a consultation or thinking about maybe buying another farm or something, how can they get a hold of you guys?
They reach out here to the office or they call us personal, 660-292-4024.
You can get me at 641-208-0724, and you follow us on social media. We got a office Facebook page. Tyler and myself, we've got a Facebook page. We're on TikTok. You can check us out at Your Midwest Connection, and we try to keep content out, but we're not the kind. Let's face it, we're not the kind. We don't have videographers with us every day filming our stuff. We try to keep enough content so that you can kind of see what we're doing, and
I plan to try to get some better some more turkey hunts this spring. We'll get some turkey hunts on there. And
oh gosh,
we'll have to go out and try to have a trip and go do some of that. There's nothing like right now. You start thinking about that, the old daylight picture with a turkey album on the back. It ain't your favorite thing, but boy, I like it.
Yeah, I guess it's fixing to turn into shooting coyotes here for the next 2 months and catching crappie as soon as it unfreezes.
Yeah,
It's gonna be catching crappie, but it's deer 24/7. So
yeah.
there's a lot of deer work coming up. Shed hunting, frost seeding, clover.
Well, we've already been. I just went last week and carved in a new food plot that we're going to put in, and
there ain't enough time in the day for all the hobbies that we got.
No, it's not.
You can't.
And that's another main thing too. With there's a lot of people that deer season just ended. They don't think about it again till August, September. But it starts right now for us. It's already started. We're keeping feeders filled and trying to here in Iowa anyways where you can do it, and just trying to do whatever that we can do to better the habitat and better the herd.
Get the deer through a tough winter, which we've not had.
No, we have not.
This should be about the easiest winter for a deer to survive in. So I know we've got enough food left on my plots that they're fat and happy right now anyway. So
I'm sure winter ain't over though. We got spoiled a little bit the past couple of days with these 55, 60 degree days.
65 degrees. I
I'm
went
sure.
golfing yesterday afternoon.
I will tell you one thing I learned this year though that I never knew is there at my house. I got 60 acres of tillable ground in the bottom that's certified organic. So the farmer tends it organic. And then I've got some hill ground that is conventional. So it's just regular soybeans. And I left some soybeans behind my house, conventional, and left 2 acres of organic soybeans, which are very expensive if you don't know, by the way.
Yeah, like 35
And,
bucks a bushel.
Yeah, and sit there. These deer out here don't like organic soybeans.
Something different about it.
There's some, I don't know what it is. I farmed
You
my
like
whole life.
organic food?
Well, I'm not that type, not me, but hey, I'm
mean,
just
that's
saying.
common
But
to say.
I've never sat there. You could sit there in my backyard and watch 40, 50 deer. They just stemmed them. There's not a bean left. They've eaten every single one up. I bet you could go put a combine in those 2 acres right now and still cut 80, 90 bushels of beans.
Yeah.
Sit there and I'd watch deer come out my beans, and it's like they'd smell them and they'd turn, go straight to the neighbor and straight to his beans and eat those.
Yeah.
But
That's
needless
crazy.
to say, there ain't gonna be no more organic where I leave my food. I've done told them I'm gonna put my own food there from here on out.
Yeah.
Something good to learn, though. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
that-
It's something. It's something good to learn. It's
Which
not something. I
not
think
many
you run
people are
into
going to
a
be
lot.
putting organic beans as high as
yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
But one more thing that I wanted to bring up too, when we were talking about all the killing, is old boy. He's not here. He was here earlier and left, but he outfits for those people that don't know, and I think he brought 13 gun hunters in this year. And I think opening weekend they killed 9 deer.
mopped
They did,
them up
9
pretty
bucks.
good.
And it was the worst opening. What were we, gun season,
Gosh
Missouri?
knows, it was terrible.
We were down like a 30-some percent
Yeah.
in the total deer killed. And I know Kevin runs a bunch of guys, and I know they killed a few good deer. But oh boy, they could kill 9 out of 13,
did.
which is outstanding. And it had some other opportunities, things happen, whatever else. But they had a really good season.
And it
with
won't
some-
just any kind of deer. Killed
They killed
one
some
like
good
a
solid deer.
165, 166 inch 8-pointer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was
one real big deer. Had
was-
some kids kill good 130s, 140s.
Yep.
Like,
He went and set with one early, and then he had a fella that hung in there and killed one like on Tuesday or Wednesday. A big, mature, heavy deer, in the rain, miserable, whatever it was. So yeah, he did. He had a great season too.
And it won't just that opening weekend here in Missouri. We was talking to guys from Iowa, Missouri, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
That whole opening weekend, nobody's seeing deer, period. And old boys sitting over here and they just waxing them.
Yeah, they did. It was hammer time, and some of that was he did a great job this last year. He didn't bring in but like one Carson
Yeah.
come bow hunting, and he kept everything off of it. So the gun season was,
Everything was fresh.
outstanding. Yeah, I mean everything had pushed in there from other getting pressured and whatever else, and they just hammered them. So
it wasn't just the first week. I mean, it was a fairly tough season.
All the way to the
throughout.
middle. Yeah.
You had to work your tail off to stay on deer this year, and
yeah,
mean,
just the wet. I guess just the weather, because the deer are there. I mean,
And we had more south and east winds than what we've ever seen.
yeah. If you don't
Right.
hang stands to hunt southeast very often, but that's what it was. So anyway, you can catch us at our website, www.weknowdirt.net. Check us out on Facebook, like the fellas said. Give us a call here at the office, 660-465-2971. We'll see you.